Check 1 2 check. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. The Coffee and Biscotti Show. I'm your host, Crew Mel Bellissimo. It is Friday, February 18th, 2022, 12 o'clock EST. And I want to welcome all of you to the show. Feeling good. If it's a little noisy today, my friends, I just want you to know Leonardo, my little almost 4-year-old boy, is upstairs playing cars with his grandma, with Nona. And I can already hear them downstairs, and it sounds like a hurricane is happening upstairs. So just letting you know ahead of time, my friends, that if you hear Nona, you know it's the little guy. But I'm happy to be here. I've had a fabulous week, absolutely fabulous. So I hope that wherever you are, you had a good week and are having an awesome, awesome Friday. It really is a good day to be alive. Giving a special shout out to the number one man, Mr. Josh Leslie. Always a pleasure, sir, to have you here on the Coffee and Biscotti Show, helping me out. Everybody needs a Josh Leslie in their life. There it is, Josh. I said it on my show. And I wanted to do that. I think I said it last week too, but I'm going to say it every show. So it doesn't matter. We're just going to get used to this. I'm feeling good. I've had a great week, and I want to share some of those victories with you. Because for my friends and family that are watching, at least maybe you'll have an opportunity to feel my joy and feel my passion for what I'm doing. So, first and foremost, I want to say that today's show is being dedicated to my mom, my dear mom, who yesterday turned 86 years old. She came here to the house to spend some time with her pride and joy, her grandson, Mr. Leonardo. And I just wrote something on social media about it because, in the world of metaphysics, we say that before we receive our physical body, we make decisions about who we want to be our parents, our hair color, our eye color, that we choose all this before we come down through the veils and onto this physical plane, 144,000 rays away from whatever you call God. And I'm dedicating the show to my mom because this woman has had a tough go. And I put it in the post. 84 years she's had meals with her family and friends. And over the last 2, has spent more time alone and has eaten more meals alone than ever in her life. And I'm sad about that because I certainly do my best to spend time with her and bring her grandson, because that's her pride and joy, the only one in the family. So it's a powerful thing for her. So I want to dedicate the show to her because, my father and I was a daddy's boy. I wasn't a mama's boy. I was a daddy's boy. And so listening, and sort of growing up with my mom, we kind of bumped heads a bit, but I always loved her dedication. I never ever met a woman who was more dedicated to her family. And I think that that's sort of an important thing to talk about, especially in a time where, I'm here in the nation's capital and there's so much divide. I mean, now all of a sudden there's checkpoints that are being set up here, and the highway exits are blocked off, and people are getting arrested for being part of the Freedom Convoy. I mean, it's just an incredible time in the city, on the planet. And I just keep saying to people, I just want to be part of the solution. And so that's why I came up with Team Wolfpack. I talk about it every week, my friends, because it's really important to me. It's the sponsor of this show. And it's a group of heart-centered business leaders in the Ottawa and Greater Ottawa area that really have seen some success in business, but really understand the value of giving back. And these men want to be challenged. They want to grow, they want to evolve, and they want to have a true body, mind, and spirit experience. And that's what I work hard at providing for them. Challenges every week where, they'll have to do something. So I really am truly grateful to be at the helm of this online community. So I want to bring some attention to our guest today, of course, as we're about to bring him on. I always say to my guests that my objective is to try to make you blush, so that by the time I bring you on, you're beet red and smiling from ear to ear. Well, with this guy, it's easy. Because he's one of these guys, man, like I met him through our Mastermind group, and he's just one of these guys that when his face comes on the screen, even over video, you're forced to smile. You don't have a choice. You must smile. And I tell you what I really love about him. In his bio, he says he self-describes himself as an average Joe. And I love that, because there's an old expression that we used to use in martial arts, in Muay Thai, when somebody would come in and, pump their chest up and think they're all that in a bag of potato chips. And I used to teach them this old expression that says, a lion doesn't need to tell you it's a lion. You know why? Because it already knows. And so the fact that my guest today describes himself as an average Joe, well, then you already know that he's not an average Joe. He's an amazing human being. I'm grateful to call him a friend. I'm honored to call him a friend. He's just this really super guy that, again, brings this sunshine with him. He thrives in big groups. He loves meeting new people. But he's the first guest that I've ever had that he sent his picture to me to put on the poster. That was a picture of him and his wife. And, with the fact that I'm going through my own situation now, I really love that. And he said that his wife, his amazing wife, has been a huge part of his journey. And I remember an old mug that said, behind every successful man is an even stronger woman supporting his successful man. And it's just really nice to see. Again, especially because there's so much divide, it's nice to see that there are still families out there that, are together and love. He's the father of two, Colby and Scotty, if I'm not mistaken. And I love this story, because you guys are going to hear a story about a guy who had a job, and he had lots of jobs. And then he went to get out of that and decide to become an entrepreneur. And then you're going to hear a story about his first attempt of being an entrepreneur and what he calls failing. And then getting back on the horse and absolutely killing it and opening a business that had 175 employees. Yeah, you heard me, 175. I mean, You tell me in the chat, my friends, you think that's an average guy? That, my friends, is a special guy. He's a special guy with a special heart, with this incredible ability to connect with people. And I love what he's doing now. And we're going to hear all about that. But I just absolutely love what he's doing now, because to me, there is this element of spirituality that's there, that's in this business. There's this energy that surrounds this business. And I know that he's going to be super successful because he has all the makings of somebody who's going to, as I say in my two principles that I follow, number one, always be better than he was yesterday. And number two, leave this planet a little better than when he found it. So, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, get off of your comfortable seat and put your hands together for my man, Billy Rogers.
What's up?
What's up? What's up, Billy?
Well, I didn't know where you were going when you said you cannot look at this guy's face and not laugh. I was like, oh man. Uh-oh.
Well, just so that you know, Billy, even Josh Leslie said, I think he put something like this thing that says facts. Like when you see Billy, you don't have a choice, but you have to smile.
Also, I'm a ginger, so it's pretty easy to make me blush, which you did a whole bunch of times throughout your intro. Thanks, man.
Hey, man.
Thanks, dude.
You're an awesome dude. I gotta say, and I'm really grateful, Billy, that you've taken 90 minutes out of your very busy schedule to come and hang with little old me. You know, it's really great. I'm so excited because, you see, Billy, I've had jobs, and when I was in my 20s, because that's really the last time I really had a job. I changed jobs faster than I changed my underwear, and I used to change them a lot. But I changed them because I was in search of something, Billy. I was in search of something that moved me, something that touched my heart. And I know that your story is going to fall upon someone's ears. Just like the old axiom that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And this story of Billy Rogers will fall upon their ears, and they will listen in with their heart. And they will listen to your words, Billy, and they're going to say, you know what? I don't want to be in a stupid job that I don't like, just because it provides me a steady paycheck. You know what I want? I want to go and fulfill a lifelong dream of being whatever. And that's why I believe your story is so powerful. And remember, Billy, that I created this platform with the help of Josh Leslie for the purpose of sharing stories of passion and transformation. So, like I do every week, Billy, take us away, man. Just tell my audience, paint a picture of who Billy Rogers, this amazing guy, is.
Oh man, pressure. Amazing. So, I don't know where to start. I grew up in Ottawa, to amazing parents who are and still are massively supportive, no matter which direction I go in with my life. I've got a younger brother who is a police officer now, or a detective in the Toronto area, and my sister, and they all have families. So we've got this like Brady Bunch-esque thing going on. There's no rise from the ashes story here. I come from a great family, I had an awesome upbringing, a very fun childhood. I just try and extend that into my adulthood. But, I grew up in Ottawa. I was a very shy kid. Didn't have my first kiss until I was 19. I had lots of friends, But, I wasn't an outgoing, talkative kind of guy. I would always sit back and listen and just kind of read an audience and not say much, And going through school was fine. And, I hit a point where I was, God, probably 20. I did 2 years of university at Carleton upon graduating from St. Pat's High School here in Ottawa, and I flunked out. I went in with a scholarship, and just couldn't hit my groove. Things weren't clicking for me on the school side of things. I was a slacker. And I don't know if things were just catching up to me on my shyness and me just becoming who I wanted to be. There was something missing there. So I did what a lot of people do, hopped in my car with a friend of mine on a whim, drove across Canada with no intention of ever coming back, really. And just to go and, be someone different, maybe be the person who I kind of wanted to be, as a kid. And forced myself into these really weird and awkward situations that would push me out of my shell, So, I was a shy kid. I'm like, well, what's a cool job? Oh, bartender. I don't know a thing about mixing a cocktail, but I know bartenders are cool. They're not shy. So I went out and, busted my butt, get a job as a bartender, and where I was forced to open conversations and talk to people, and but I spent 2 years out west, or a year out west, just slinging drinks and fun, and it was a bit of a self-discovery path. It was a drunken path of self-discovery, probably, at the time, but I learned a lot about myself in that time and what I wanted to do and what I loved to do. And the biggest discovery there was that I loved pleasing people. I loved serving people. I loved making people happy and putting smiles on faces. So, I've had this flip in my brain. I came back. I'm like, I can't bartend forever, So I came back. I went to university. I went to Ryerson University in Toronto. I've graduated my BCom. Graduated an A student, hospitality management specialty, in the people pleasing field, which was right up my alley. And it was an awesome, had I not gone out west, I would have never figured that out about myself, had I not pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And really kind of the rest is history. I finished my degree there, and I went into school with a whole new attitude, knowing that I was doing something that I loved. Had no idea. And I'm 44 and I still don't know what I want to do for a living, really, I guess. But it was enlightening. So, it sparked something in me. I graduated from university. I worked on cruise ships as an entertainment director. So this shy kid was now on stage every night in front of 2,500 people, cracking jokes, disseminating information, sharing and introducing the entertainment, working with the comedians, so it was,
wow.
For me, it was just a crazy change, and it was so much fun. But, I worked on cruise ships for 4 years, and that sparked a new interest, travel, and seeing the world. And, so after I did my time there, I lived in Boston for a while. I worked for the Vancouver Olympic Games. Did just about a year in Whistler, running the athlete transportation systems and working with all sorts of different countries. And Ottawa's always been home, so I knew I would eventually make my way back here. And yeah, kind of here I am,
Yeah, well. Well, Billy, here you are, but there's a lot of stuff in between. I mean, I didn't even know that. So 4 years on the cruise ships.
Yeah.
Exactly. Putin Nation writes, just an average guy. Yeah, worked on cruise ships, worked for the Vancouver Olympics. Yeah, just an average guy, right? So after you did that, take it from there, like pick it up from there, Billy, because I really want to know. I want to know everything you did.
All right. So, cruise ships was an eye-opening experience. There's not too many days that go by where I don't miss that job. That was one of my favorite jobs that I've ever had in my entire life. There's so many fun memories, so many amazing relationships made. Just to wake up every morning and work with, 1,800 crew members who are in the exact same scenario as you, away from their homes, and we're traveling and experiencing so much together. It was just awesome. I just got goosebumps talking about it. But so I left ships. Wasn't getting any younger, and I was like, it's time to put in some roots. And I got home, and I'm like, frick, I don't want any roots. This sucks, like I need to go continue to explore. So this is when I started bouncing around from job to job. Came back. I moved to Boston almost right away. I worked for Fairmont Hotels. I spent a year there working in the event space. It was fun experience. The job did not fulfill me in any way, shape, or form. It's a great career and some people love it. It just wasn't for me. Came back to Ottawa. I moved to a small town called Belleville, and I became a pharmaceutical sales rep. I sold erectile dysfunction drugs on one day, and then the next day I was selling, birth control, and cruising my way in and out of doctors' offices, trying. I don't know anything about science, but I'm like, ooh, that's a cool job. It pays well. If there was a movie out at the time that made pharmaceutical sales reps look so sexy, I forget the name of the movie, but. Again, there was something missing. I liked the challenge of sales. I got to interact with people, but there was just something missing. And so, I bounced around. I went and worked for the Golf Channel for 3 years after that, in sales. And it was great working for NBC Sports. 2 years in, I got the itch. I'm like, this is great, but I'm serving someone else, and I'm not serving myself here, and as hard as I tried to make the job work for my mind, I couldn't, and it was time to go. And people thought I was nuts. They're like, what are you doing, man? You work for NBC Sports. Like, it's the coolest, you have the coolest business card, and I'm like, hey, so I just saw Dev.
Yeah, did you see that? I know. I'm glad you saw that. Sounds like a hard job, Joshua.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, Josh and Dev Chef. Good to have you here, Scotty.
So, then I'm like, oh, what's next and what's cool? I worked for Jack Daniels for a little while. Went from pushing erectile dysfunction drugs to pushing erectile dysfunction, whiskey, right? So it was
incredible.
But there was somewhere in there, and my dad, who is a massive influence, just the hardest working guy, family first, guy, who's like, son, what are you doing? You're never going to be able to get a job again. You've got all of these things. Every 2 years, you're bouncing out of your position. No one's going to want to hire you. But there's part of me that always knew I wanted to start a business. From a young age, I was always putting up little garage sales, just selling my own stuff at the end of our driveway, and going door to door, trying to babysit but my best friend Chris and I had this great idea to do like a LinkedIn, but with a social aspect to it. So we thought we got this. We didn't know anything about technology. The company was called youngandeligible.com. And what it was supposed to be was a professional networking site that had events. And it ended up being a flop of a dating site that threw really good parties. But we lost. We started that business. I quit my job on a whim. Again, my dad's like, dude, what's the matter with you? My parents would always take me in, right? So I lived in my parents' basement on and off till I was 35. Cruise ships, coming back from Boston, and I'd go back for 3 months while I found the next gig. They would always welcome me back in. So it's easy to fail when you have a really great safety net like that. Easy to take risks. So anyways, we started our first business, Chris and myself, called Young and Eligible. We had a pretty cool website. We spent some money on it. We threw great parties, but we weren't making a penny. And we didn't want to live in our parents. Chris was also living in his parents' basement at the time. So we didn't want to live in our parents' basements forever. So we had to go back into the workforce and get jobs, and it was hard. We lost cash, which took us 10 years to pay back almost, but it was a fun experience. Oh my God, Chris, I call it a failure. I was MC at my friend Chris's wedding, and what came out of that business was his wife. He met his wife through that young and eligible business that we started so long ago, so, $60,000 well spent in his case,
Absolutely.
I didn't get a wife out of it, but he did. But yeah. So anyways, yeah, that was that. We both went back into the workforce, found jobs, just waiting for the next opportunity to come up. We both knew we wanted to be in business together, and we could never, we're not, neither of us are those guys who just like go after anything, it had to be a real fit for us. A friend of ours was traveling in Thailand. Am I talking too much? Are we good?
No, were you kidding me?
Like, I don't know if people
you keep going
on the other end. I don't even know.
Going.
Yeah. So a friend of ours was traveling. His sister, I guess, was traveling in Thailand a whole bunch of years ago, and came home and told her brother Marco, "Hey, I was in Thailand, and one of the coolest things we did was this thing called an escape room." And I said, like, how could that possibly be the coolest thing you did in Thailand? Because there's lots of cool stuff to do in Thailand.
I know firsthand.
Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah, you know better than me, Mel.
2 years, sure. 2 years in that country.
2 weeks for me, and it was enough. It was crazy. Anyways, that's a whole other. That's the.
We'll talk about that story later.
Yeah, that's the X-rated show that will air.
That's right. The X-rated show.
Anyways, it hit all the marks for Chris and myself. We're like, cool, it's a fun business. We're locking people up in rooms. We have to be creative and do all of these things that everyone dreams of doing. Like, how cool would it be to open up a special bookshelf, a hidden bookshelf, or walk through a fridge that takes you to a secret room that no one's seen before? And wouldn't it be cool in the movies where you pull a book and something opens over here, and you step on a button here and the lights go out over there? It was just such a fun business, and it was in hospitality. We had an opportunity to not just make people smile, but to truly blow their minds, and take them into out of this world experiences and drop them into the middle of a movie, is kind of how we put it. So it just hit all the marks for us. And Chris and I said, we were a little bit smarter this time around. We kept our jobs and opened Escape Manor V1 on the side, 7 years ago, I guess now. And we had a tiny startup budget. We pinched every penny, based on the lessons we learned from our first unsuccessful business. And it was a resounding success. We were, I think, the third or fourth escape room in Canada. So we were there before it started trending, and there's one like Starbucks on every corner, But we thought we could do something good. Our competition was typically gamers who thought it'd be fun to create a game, but didn't really know how to market and run a business and deliver an entire hospitality experience, which was and still is our competitive advantage in this space. So yeah, we opened one little location. We worked on it part-time. My wife, I'm pretty sure, almost left me because we had a brand new baby at the time, and I was working a full-time job and then going in almost every single night to host guests and lock them up in rooms. So that's first she pushed the baby out, and then she dealt with a non-existent husband. And this is why my wife is amazing. Some of the reasons why she's so amazing, because a lot of people wouldn't have the patience for that. And truly, I fucked up. But if I could go back in time, right, I would have done it a lot differently. So anyways, yeah, we started that one little location, and it's very quickly turned into 10 locations. We've got 2 in the Toronto area, one in Toronto, one in Hamilton. Those were bits of the puzzle for us, because both locations have a full kitchen, a bar, a restaurant, a cocktail lounge, axe throwing, and escape rooms in the bottom. So it's really just a giant kind of entertainment center, but it was very immersive, right? And that's the one thing we love. From the second you walk through our doors, it's really not like anything you're really transported into another world. So our Toronto and our Hamilton locations both have that. We have 2 locations out west in Regina and Saskatoon, and we even have a location in Brisbane, Australia, of all places. So yeah, right. So we've been really lucky to find really, really, really great people along the way that shared our vision and wanted to work with us, and that was it. It was awesome. The business is starting to thrive again. Coming out of COVID, we made it through. The team there, I no longer work there as an employee. I'm just on the board of directors, so I'm there for some major decisions. But the guys, my partners there running it, are just amazing people, and they made it. They helped the Skate Manor survive, and all of the frontline team, just awesome people. Like, all the success goes to them, and their flexibility and their ability to deliver. And so anyways, yeah, that's it. We've done some really cool stuff with the Skate Manor. If you're going to ask me a question at some point throughout our chat, Krumel, about what's something that no one knows about you, here's a little known fact is I'm actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. So a Skate Manor, we set a Guinness World Record. We ousted Google for the world's largest scavenger hunt. So yeah, so we, that was something that was really cool. We did that as part of a Skate Manor, and 5,000 wonderful people from the city of Ottawa came out and helped us, do that. But the record stands to this day, as far as I know. Yes, we've done a lot of really neat stuff, a lot of charitable stuff too. We do a lot of work with the Heart Institute here in Ottawa, and the animal shelters, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a ride. It was, reflecting on it, it was just such a cool experience. We got lucky, our timing was right, our experience was good enough to get through. And when we opened our doors, and opened our booking, we booked out for 6 months straight in 24 hours. So, yeah. That's the Skate Manor, man. It's still growing. The boys just locked a deal in Ottawa for a new beautiful location, where we're going to be working more on the entertainment side of things and doing some other neat stuff. So yeah.
Scott wrote in the chat a little while back. He said, "If that's average, I want in." I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. Billy. How does one could do? Listen, I know people. I met a lot of people. There was 11,000 plus people that passed through the doors of my MMA school, Billy. I met a few people in my day. I don't know how. First of all, I just was, it's funny, Billy, because I was just working with a lady that works for St. Lawrence Employment Services, St. Lawrence College Employment Services. And I'm thinking to myself, coaching and this and that, maybe I should go get a job. Everybody's pushing me to go get a job. So I go and I do all of this stuff and get connected. I mean, here I am, she helps me with looking for online for some of the positions. My God. There's not a lot of jobs that I saw that you did. So I don't know how the heck you got them, because it's amazing the stuff that you've done. I mean, listen, the cruise ship I applied and was going to work on the Disney cruise when I was a kid as a bartender. And so I get that part of it. And there's a wonderful woman that I know, Angelica Records. She's a singer. She sang on cruise ships for, I don't know how many things she did. 22 sales she did.
Yep.
So I get it, but this is remarkable, Billy. And so that's not even the end of the story. Let's face it. That's just like the good, that's a large portion of it. But what happened after Escape Manor. And how did you manage to survive during COVID?
Yes. So, I talk about, or I mentioned, what made Escape Manor very easy and why still to this day, it's amazing, but when you're doing something you love, and that you're just meant to be in, it's not work, right? And I got to work with my best friends, and yeah, it was just such an amazing experience. But after 5 years, it's still alive and kicking. We made it through COVID thanks to the government. They and some really great landlords and some really great staff. But that's how Escape Manor made it through, and some really good management, of finances and relationships. And all the credit goes to the guys who are my partners there who are running it now. But there was still after 5 years, I'm not getting any younger. My kids are a bit older, 5 and 3 maybe at this point, or 4 and 2 or whatever. And there was something new missing. I had a ton of job satisfaction at Escape Manor. I loved every day, almost every day of it, but it was the lifestyle. My lifestyle desire started to change at about the 5-year mark, and 5 years that's a long time for me to stay in one thing, so I got the itch, but the itch came later, but it wasn't really, I wanted to spend more time with my kids, spend more quality time with my wife. I didn't want to have the phones potentially ringing on Friday and Saturday nights at midnight with an emergency. The HR, cases having 175-ish employees wasn't stuff that I wanted to, manage anymore, or, it was just a lot, and I wanted to slow down. I didn't want to speed up. And I go by the hashtag, although I probably contradict it, but my personal mantra, and I say this to everyone, is hashtag fuck hustle. That's how I want to live my life now. It's not about working 60 hours or 70 hours and being proud of that. I want to find a way to build a business while working 30 hours, and it can be done. The business builds slower, takes more time and costs more money, but it can be done, and to the benefit of my own well-being, right? And how I actually want to live my life. So right before COVID hit, before we even knew it was coming, I let the guys know that it was time for me to move on. And it was a very hard decision to make. And I think it felt like I punched everyone in the gut. My best friends, when I made the announcement, I let them know. I kind of knew what I wanted to do. This is where Josh actually and I met, because I was very early on. So Josh has seen, and had really great conversations with me early on when I was trying to figure everything out. But I resigned from the day-to-day of Escape Manor in order to pursue something new. There were some mistakes I made. I didn't have a financial plan. Me and my partners were supposed to organize a partial buyout of my shares, which could finance the new business and just let me live for a little while with the family without having financial stress. Negotiating with your best friend sucks, and it didn't work out, so all of a sudden I left Escape Manor. I don't have income anymore coming in. I don't have benefits. I was banking on having some money, selling some partial shares to my partners. That didn't work out. So now I'm all of a sudden without a job, without income, and trying to hustle to get the next business going, food on the table. So there was 18 months of a lot of stress, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of long conversations, a lot of self-reflection and evaluation, a lot of guilt, but out of it, Retreat Fussle, I like that. Out of it, Retreat Can't Look was born, and it's a business that I still consider it a startup. I still do it out of my dining room. We did $250,000. I made $250,000 in candles out of my dining room over the last year, but I found my footing. Yeah. Right.
Are you serious?
enough candles to last like 25 lifetimes. Oh yeah, I'm a candle maker, by the way, everyone. Now, so
Actually, you're the chief dude.
230, 235-pound candle maker. So yeah, so Retreat Candle Co. is born. And it's a business that I love. You know, we are purpose driven. We have a mission, and when I say we, I always refer to it as we. But you know, because my wife is just such a huge part of the business. Even though she doesn't work in the business, she helps me make every major, you know, and she's much smarter than I am. But our mission is to raise $10 million in 10 years for kids and youth mental health. You know, so that's what drives me every day. Is, you know, can we get closer to our mission? You know, every decision I make now is how can we help other people? Don't get me wrong, we're a for-profit, you know, and the candle sales do put food on the table for myself and my family, and they pay the bills, you know, but what drives me every day, making candles is the funnest thing in the world after you've made 7,000 of them, you know, by hand. But, you know, every time I make one, I know that there's some good coming out of it, you know, and that I've got some really great customers who are bought into our mission, you know, and I want to make them proud and make the organizations I work with proud. So Retreat Candle Co. was born. We are a year and a half into the business now. It is fun. I'm getting my fill of my social side of things by just building partnerships and working with some just awesome people. But yeah, that's where I am, Krumel.
I'm speechless.
For now, there's a few things that, you know, happen along the way. I was at this really great mastermind in California back when I was with, and I don't typically pay to be in like mastermind groups and stuff like that, you know, but this one was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And there was a speaker there named Phil McKernan, and he had us all out in this field with a canvas in front of us and finger paints. And after giving a very compelling talk, you know, he said, now my challenge to you is take 30 minutes. And if you weren't unencumbered by anything, a wife, kids, zero financial stress, money did not matter. You know, if you didn't have to worry about paying the bills and having a roof over your head, take 30 minutes and just close your eyes. What would you be doing with your life? Not what job would you have, you know, not, you know, what sports would you play, you know, how would you be spending your time, you know? And there was literally 150 business owners here, and I'm pretty sure that 80% of them weren't aligned. The answer that they came up with after reflecting on this question weren't aligned, you know, with what they're actually doing. And what I painted that day all those years ago was me on stage speaking to a group of kids. So I didn't, you know, I don't know what I wanted to do. I just know that I wanted to help youth in some way, shape, or form, youth that couldn't help themselves, right? And it's funny because 5 years after that, in my new business, that's what we're doing, you know? So had I not spent that time figuring out truly what I want to do and what does drive me, you know, what is my purpose, right? That fucking question, you know, that is so hard to answer, you know, that one exercise helped me kind of figure it out. And now I've made it my business, you know? So I love what I do when I come to work every day. You know, I don't love making candles or packaging candles, you know, but what makes me feel really good about it every day is knowing that we're giving back. You know, it's my customers, you know, and my clients that are part of it because they're the ones paying the money to buy the candles, you know, and then I'm advocating for them to, you know, put the money in the right place. But yeah, so I feel really good. You know, I've always managed to, you know, especially recently, to reflect and make sure I'm doing what I love, you know. And there's a couple of things I know since I started my very first business. I knew that I could never work for anybody again. I knew that I can't work for anybody. I can't. I need to be on my own, doing something,
Amen, brother. Amen.
yeah. So, and it's not for everyone. And I don't suggest everyone become an entrepreneur, because you can get a lot of job satisfaction and finding a job you love. You don't need to be an entrepreneur to do what you love. That's for sure, but for me, that was the path that I had to take. So,
I want that was like the mic drop. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think there's so much to unpack with what you've talked about. You've touched on so many things. Billy, we didn't do the finger painting exercise in metaphysical school. We did. I'm presenting you a check for $10 billion. What would you do? So my joke, of course, was after the strippers and the cocaine, what would you be doing? And of course, what's interesting about that?
still $1 billion left.
So, uh, of course, there's Remy. Remy's coming in. We got Albert Wong in the room, my boy. All the greats are in this room, Billy, because of you, my friend. You made all of this possible. That's for sure. They're all coming to see the man, Billy. So we talk about that. We talk about the $10 billion and what would you be doing if money wasn't a problem or an issue or a challenge. Money wasn't an object. But what I love is that there's so much thought that you've put into this. And what I'm curious to know is, I'm a spiritual guy. I love it. I don't say this very often, Billy, but what I wanted to do was become an exorcist. That's really what I wanted to become. And you want to talk about crazy shit? That's as crazy and as batshit crazy as it gets. Because I just don't like evil. I don't like evil. I don't like it in the physical form, so I learned how to punch somebody in the face real good. I've been doing it for 25 years. And but the truth is I didn't like evil. And so what I want to know from you, Billy, is what elements of sort of, what sort of, I want to call it spirituality, but what sort of revelations have you experienced in now opening up this candle company? Like really, what has happened to you internally? What has happened to the heart?
So, whew, my thoughts are always scattered, Mel. So, I'm just gonna. I don't know. It's always just, I'm a gut feel guy. I always have been. I haven't always followed my gut because of just the way things should be done, and things that I should be doing. I was a shy kid. Didn't have a ton of confidence growing up. I still lack confidence. There's still times where I'm questioning everything I do, or thinking back to things I said and should I have said them differently. And, but, there's a couple things that I realized that it's just, I need to accept that I might change jobs every 3 years, and that's fine. I might start this candle company now. And, a lot of this has to do with having a very intelligent wife who's a psychotherapist also, but just accepting some of those things, I came really late to the game, on, doing what you love. And I feel that the younger generation, has realized that way earlier than I've ever been able to realize that. They're in their 20s and early 20s, and they know what they want to do, and they're already doing only what makes them happy. And they challenge us. I come from a generation, right, of you work till the job is done. It doesn't matter if it takes 23 out of your 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you're only getting paid 8 hours a day. You work till the job is done. If you need to work 60 hours, you work 60 hours. And the younger generation is like, well, no, you're paying me for 37.5 hours. That's what I'm working. And at first that frustrated me, but then I realized I was just jealous. I was like, I should have done that too. Like they're standing up for themselves in their own personal interests and chasing other, so part of that play, a lot of it came just from our staff at Escape Manor, our team at Escape Manor, who were of that generation, and I'm like, good, I was like, good for them, you guys are doing probably the right thing. Instead of overworking yourselves, you're coming in, you're doing your job, and then you are leaving time for your relationships. You're leaving time for your personal interests, whether it's playing guitar or sports. You're leaving time for downtime and meditation and thoughtfulness, and those are things that's not the way things worked when I was younger. It was you work your ass off, and that's the way it goes. And so I think a lot of it I was just inspired by that a little bit, as frustrating as it could be sometimes as an employer, I had to just change my outlook on it and be like, wow, I wish I had done that. Just go in and kick ass for my 37.5 hours, kick fucking ass, but then go home and not worry about it and do things I love, So, there were some lessons there that I learned from our very young team, that had me reflect on why I was getting so frustrated by people who weren't putting in the extra work, but I don't know. Yeah, that and just doing what makes you happy, and that's not an easy question to answer. That takes a ton of reflection. Excuse me. But now I try and only do what aligns with who I want to be, and I can't really define who I want to be yet. I just know I want to be a good person, kindness. I want to raise my kids the right way, and I'm not going to do that if I'm #hustling, so yeah, it's I don't know, Mel. Like I said, I'm going to talk in circles, man, but it's finding a way to take some time to figure out what you love and incorporating that into your daily life, so.
Wow, Billy. I'm scratching my head here, bro, because what's most amazing is that we're in and around the same age group. I'm turning 47 this year. And one of the things that's so powerful of what you said, we've talked about in metaphysical school, where we talked about how as we change level of consciousness, that there's things that are going to change, and that the elders or the older people are going to fight to maintain their position on their beliefs and their morals and their values. So we talk about things like, we talk about like this idea of, well, the younger generation is coming in, working their 37.5 hours and getting the fuck out of there. Well, we were taught, like you say, shut up and just get the job done. But in the new paradigm of thinking, as we change paradigms and we up level our level of dimensions, when we talk about level of consciousness, I kind of feel like, yeah, that's what's going to change. In fact, we talked about companies that were going to be successful. Were successful because of two reasons. Number one, what they did for the community, and two, how they treated their employees.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just about bottom line.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is that your ability to adapt, Billy, your adaptation, your ability to take something that frustrated you and say, let's look at it from a different set of lenses. And Billy, if I can say this, my friend, that's why you're successful. Because you have the ability to change the lenses, where most people will look at the same problem with the same pair of lenses and not change the lenses to be able to look at it from a different perspective. And that's why I put that post the other day about how sometimes new beginnings. Let me. I don't want to ad lib with this. The quote was from Lao Tzu. And it was, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. And arguably, Billy, you've had some painful endings, some painful things, going from one business to another and spending 18 months in stress. Well, Billy, I could literally say that over the course of the last 14 months, whatever it's been, whatever August and that works out to, of August 2020, when I lost my job and I said, I vow never to go get another job. I don't want another job. I don't want to work for anybody else. I'm not an employable guy. But I want to make a difference. And I want to make a difference with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember breaking down with our dear friend Josh. Poor Josh. He was on the brunt of everything. Always Josh. That's why I said at the beginning, everybody needs a Josh and Leslie in their life.
In their bed. Oh, their life. Yes.
In their bed. In their bed.
Life. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And it's true, Billy. And I have to say, I really am in awe of you, because you are just so really so in tune with your intuitions, your ability to, again, adapt, look at lenses, look through a situation and challenges through different set of lenses. And for my friend Remy, yes, Remy, that's why I'm not employable, is because when I'm at somebody's work and I like what they're eating in their lunch, I steal it.
That's awesome.
Good to have Edwin 100X with us as well. Good Edwin Frondoza 100X, Cafe 100X. Good to see you here, my friend. I don't know, Billy. I don't know. It's just incredible. I think that my question to you, with regards to all of these changes and the ability to adapt, is, what did you think about in those 18 months that you were losing sleep? Like, what got you through?
Yes. I mean, the biggest fear I had was we just had no cash, right? We just had no money. And my wife was working. So we didn't have no money. And by no means were we in dire straits. It was the future I was worried about. We could get by, but am I going to be able to pull my weight, but I was just so confident in the product and the mission. And every time, everyone I told, hey, I'm going to open up this candle thing. And everyone's like, oh, that's cute. A cute little candle business out of your house. Oh, you're going to go to like little markets and fairs, and you're going to be at the church craft table, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm fucking doing, But how do you make candles, exciting, right, to people? And they're like, oh, that's, yeah, okay, cool, and are you gonna like try and get your candle here, So my vision and my dreams were always bigger, and that's what got me through. I was confident in what I was going to do, although I couldn't articulate it to other people. I was confident that I could do what I wanted to do better than 95% of the other people doing it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew what I'm good at. I know I'm good at building relationships. I know that I'm creative and I like to have fun. I know, that I do want to give back, and here's who I want to give back to. I know that I need to be mission driven in my life. And if I stick to these things and make sure I'm doing things that, cater to my skill set, it's going to work. It just took a long time to get it to work. But yeah, that was it. It's the same thing now. I'm a dreamer, and my wife is less of a dreamer. So we offset each other very nicely on that front, and those are the things that still get me through when I have the sleepless nights. I'm like, man, I didn't sell any candles today. What's next? What's going to happen? That roller coaster that entrepreneurs are always on, right? But you reflect on the past a little bit, and
excuse me,
you just got to be bought in. You got to be bought in your own vision. So,
but what I want to know too, Billy, is that you've changed, companies or changed jobs or businesses. What I want to know and what I want to sort of share with those watching and those who watch the recorded version of this is that how did you figure it out? What was it? Was it a quantum moment? You know, Dr. Dyer calls it that quantum moment that changes something for you. You know, you talked about an experience of finger painting and with this guy that was part of this mastermind group. What do you attribute to helping you find that desire? Because this is one of the things that as a clarity coach, this is what I work with, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
People, I ask three questions. What do you want? What are you doing? And do they match?
Yeah.
And most times the answer is no, they don't match. And I said, great. That's super great, because that means that there's a blank canvas that we can start putting our finger painting on. I mean, the concepts are not that different.
Right.
How did you do it? What do you think about? What's the process? Is there a process?
There's not. So there probably is. You know, if I were to sit down and try and figure out what the process was for me, I don't know. I think I have a bit of ADD. I'm always just scattered and my thoughts are all over the place and my ideas are all over the place. For example, I own like 122 domains for all of these businesses that I want to start that I think are great ideas. But it was all, the signifier to me was always that there was something that I felt was incomplete somewhere in my gut. You know, there was something missing and I can never put my finger on it. So I can just continue to search, you know, and find different jobs and, you know, and it wasn't until I guess I had the balls to go after what I wanted to do, take the risks, you know. And again, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. I don't wish this stress on anybody. And you don't need to own your own business to be fulfilled in any way, shape, or form. You know, I love being an entrepreneur. There's days where I wish I wasn't, you know, but, yeah, there wasn't there wasn't a moment. It's just a culmination of my life, I think, you know, feeling a hole and then trying to fill it and finding what fills it the most and what's going to fill it for the longest point of time. Right. And, it's a tough question to answer, and it's something might not know when you're 22 or 25 or 30. You know, I still don't know right now. You know, I think I'm doing what feels really good for me, but that might change in 2 or 3 years as my kids get older and their needs change, and my needs might change with them. You know, and how I want to be there for them. So I don't know, Mel. I wish I could give you a better answer, man.
I think that the reason being is because I want, again, this is going to fall on somebody's ears and says, you know, I'm not fulfilled with my job. And I've got a wonderful example, and I want to give her a shout out because she's an amazing woman. So Billy, there's a woman that I used to teach at my MMA school who was a bus driver for the TTC. And she was they make 6 digits in Toronto. I don't know what they make here in Ottawa, but they make 6 digits in Toronto. But it's a difficult job because they just pick on the bus driver. My friend was telling me he would have to avoid getting into fights every day. But she used to pass by the school and used to see the sign every day. And then one day she stopped and she got out of the bus. She literally parked the TTC bus right in front on the middle of the street. Flashing lights are going off, and she comes right into the school. And all I can say, Billy, is that it was through doing some of my classes and doing some work on herself, because she had a son that was suicidal. Imagine a son. I have one son. I can't even begin to fathom.
Yeah.
But she was so busy working that she didn't have the time to be there for her son. And then I kept talking about these. I used to have a class called Body, Mind, Spirit. We used to do exercise and yoga type stretching, traditional martial arts, and then we used to meditate at the end. And it was through the chats and meditations that she finally said, that's enough. I'm not going to do this job anymore. I have bigger fish to fry. I want to go after my passions as a baker. And she's a Jamaican woman, and you know what she did, Billy? She ended up quitting TTC to open up and fulfill her dream of making Jamaican rum cakes. And that time basically gave her quitting afforded her the opportunity to be with her son and saved her son's life. And on
Wow.
February 22nd of 2022, she is going to go pitch for Dragon's Den.
No way. What a story.
Fucking awesome, man. And
I wish
what
I had
lo-
one of those stories to tell you.
Well, I mean, but Billy, it may be a little bit different, but the stories are the same. The stories are the same, and Scott's not here anymore. He had to take off, but he said something back a little while ago in the chat, which is exactly what I'm a proponent of. What I preach is fuck the hustle and live the life you want. And that's what he wrote. Bingo. He said, fuck hustle and live the life. Bravo, Billy. Yes, Billy. That's the shit that I'm talking about. Yes, I know we need to survive. Yes, I know we need to make money, but at what cost?
Absolutely.
And you embody this, my friend. Why do you think your story, is so powerful? Because you embody that. And not only do you want to make money for yourself and for your family so you can be comfortable, but there's a mission. And I want you to spend a few minutes talking a little bit about that. What is this mission of painting you teaching in front of the youth? What are you doing with that?
So, I had zero clarity back then when I finger painted that, other than I knew I wanted to help. And that was the first time that I had some, desire truly. It was what was missing. It was what was missing. I had all these great jobs doing really cool things, but there was something missing, and it was the fact that I felt I had the ability to impact people, but I wasn't. We were in a roundabout way, we were putting smiles on faces, but we weren't changing lives. So that in that moment when I finger painted myself on stage, which is a terrible frigging finger painting, and he made us all tear them up and let go of it all at the time, but it took a long time for me to figure out how I wanted to help. I knew I wanted to help underprivileged kids or kids who didn't have the ability to help themselves. And my wife's a psychotherapist. Enter another one of her amazing influences on me, right? She worked with kids. She worked in homes. So I got to hear how many people had just such hard lives. And it was just, it's devastating to know that so many people are going through stuff. And so that's where, when I was trying to start my new business and figure out what purpose do I want to serve here? Who do I want to serve, through my business? I was like, do we want to plant a tree for every camp? No, every company's planting trees these days. Great. All the power to them. You're doing something, but that's the trend. And to me, there wasn't a really massive impact on the people who are our future and who are going to change the world. So mental health, specifically youth and kids mental health, and the timing was perfect because then COVID hit, after we had already hit our mission and people's mental health was deteriorating. So that was it. It was truly under the influence of my wife and me seeing firsthand the impact, that she was able to have as a therapist, seeing one or two kids at a time. I'm like, well, I want to help too, and that's kind of where the mission originated. We've been able to donate in our first 15 months. We've donated 20K, to various organizations who I handpick, that I love. Mostly Canadian charities. One that I'm working with now is in the United States on student athlete mental health, called The Hidden Opponent. But that mission, BHAG, is one of the things that's driven me. Big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't know if you've heard that term, but it's something that I love. I learned it back in my Golf Channel days. What is our big, hairy, audacious goal at the Golf Channel? It was to play a part in every single tee time booking in the world. The Golf Channel needs to somehow be involved. Whether it's through technology, whether it's through advertising, they wanted it to be involved. So I was like, well, what's my BHAG? Oh, it'd be cool to raise $1 million. I'm like, no, it would be cool to raise $10 million and put my name on that. And that's kind of how our big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't know how I'm going to hit it. It might be 25 grand a year for the next 5 years, but hopefully by year 6, we're getting into, $500,000 donations and $600,000 donations, but, man, that would just make me feel great. And if I could do that while only positively impacting and influencing my own family, they're the true legacy. So that's how it originated and where it came from. And it's exciting to me. It's front and center. I tell everyone I know about it, I want them to be on board.
Now, are you doing any speaking at the moment, Billy, for like, do you do any talks with kids?
No. That would be something that my wife would be better at. She's amazing. But, no, right now it's strictly a financial donation from our end. And the hope would be to work with the Royal Ottawa here at some point in the future, where when am in a position, hopefully later this year, to hire staff, that I'm hiring youth, that are in their mental health programs, to come in and make the candles and get some experience and have some fun and get paid. Yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing, Billy. I mean, I love all of it. I love how it's so well thought out, and it doesn't matter how you're going to get there. You're going to get to 10 million. We don't know how it's going to get there, but it's going to get there, because that's your, what do you call it? Big, hairy, audacious goal.
Big BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. A goal that is so big, 10 years out, you don't know how you're going to hit it, but it drives every decision you make as a company or as a person. It doesn't need to be business related, so it's just, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Pumps me up.
Well, I have to say, Billy, that, now that I'm working, I really want to work with middle-aged men that have dedicated 25 years to career and family, don't have a huge social network, and have just done things because that's what they thought that they should do. And I say this, I've said this a million times, I'm going to continue to say it, that the villain in my story. So if you look at the Donald Miller story brand, and you talk about that there's a character, and the character has a problem, and then the problem is in my case programming, and they meet a guide, and I'm the guide, and I show them what success and failure looks like. And one of the things for me, Billy, is for the people that are in their 40s, late 30s, early, or 40s and 50s, that they go after, they now spend time, now that they've maybe seen some success, but they go after some of the stuff that they love to do, and the missions that they have, the missions that feel, the callings that they have. I really think that that's part of my mission, is to get these people to do what you're doing, Billy. Getting these people to look at their life from a different set of lenses and say, you know what? There's something missing. I work hard. I make a lot of money. I wish I could spend more time with my family. Well, you know what? Go and do it. Figure out a way. You got this mind that allows you to be so successful, problem solve in business. Let's problem solve in life. Because the other day, Billy, we were talking a little bit about retirement and talking a little bit about what that means. Most people retire from a job. There's a difference between retiring from a job and retiring from life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so I'm really super grateful that you're here to share this, because it's an inspiration to me. Because every day I want to quit and say, you know what, I'll just go get a construction job, Billy. I'll get myself in good shape again. I did asphalt when I was 19 years old for 3 seasons, and I remember the first season I lost 35 pounds, man, from being on top of that mound of asphalt at
Yeah.
402 degrees. But there's something that drives me. There's something that propels me forward. That I know I'm not focused on the money. I'm focusing on the results. And I will tell you, Billy, that there's been some wonderful things that have happened and have transpired over the last week. But one of them is I'm running a vision board mastermind, a deep dive where people come with me for 9 weeks, and we spend 90 minutes to 2 hours every week talking about their passions and what they want in that particular compartment in their life. And I will very proudly say this, that in creating this space, Billy, the people who are there have already made in 4 short weeks some significant changes in developing some clarity in their life.
I believe it.
And so I'm grateful and honored that you're sharing this story, Billy. Shout out to Franny, who's here with us. Much love, girl. Kisses to you. So nice to have you here on the show. Billy, what's next? What's next, brother? What are you thinking about? What's in your
So,
heart?
I'm trying to find ways to spend more time with my family. So my kids might not want that. I might force that on them. They might see enough of my wife and myself these days, but there's some other stuff that I want to incorporate back into my life that have been missing for a while, and that's just travel, and new experiences. And they've been missing because we have young kids, and we're starting businesses and transitioning homes and all that stuff. But they're old enough now where we can set out and get going again. So I've got to scale this candle business. So the big project for me this year is to grow it to a point where it is out of my house and into a space, and I have a team dedicated to production, where I can spend my time building bigger relationships to raise more money for our mission. When you spend 40 hours a week making candles, it's hard to do much else to grow the business. So the goal this year is to, work on the business as opposed to in the business, as they say. And then incorporate travel back into my family's lives, get my kids exploring and seeing some new cultures and building up their experience on that side of things. So, I would love to put our family in a position where we can work completely remotely in the next couple of years, so we can just take off, go to Costa Rica for 3 months and work, go visit, Switzerland and work, and just let our kids experience all the things that, I got to experience. So.
Well, you make sure you go and see Ute, because she's in Switzerland now, my friend.
I know she is. Yeah, I was going to name drop her there, but she's not online. So
That's okay. We'll send her a message and say, Ute, you got to watch Billy's show, because we gave you a shout out.
Yeah.
And so Billy, I love that. I mean, I have to say, man, some of the goals that you have now, that I have a 4-year-old, or almost a 4-year-old next month. My first, and I told Josh this, that my goals for this year is I have to get a new Betsy. Betsy's what I call my computer, and I got to get a new Betsy so we can have a more vibrant coffee and biscotti show. But then the second thing is that I want to take Leo on the Disney cruise. That's really what I want to do. I think he's a little small for Disneyland, or going to the big thing where he's going to walk, but to go on a cruise, and spend some time with him is what I want to do, and just me and him, just me and
Yeah.
Leo.
I love
You know?
it. And quickly, Edwin, we're going to Costa Rica in April, and we're actually looking at land. I saw your question there. Where are we off to first? So a friend of mine has some space, some plots of land in Costa Rica, which aren't in our budget today, but we're going to go explore what that looks like because I think it would be a very fun place to not only vacation but to maybe even personally raise our kids. I don't know yet. We're gonna figure that out. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
It's
I've been Billy to Costa Rica. I went with the Gracies on a Gracie adventure camp to Costa Rica, and
like
what an
the
absolute
Gracies,
yeah,
like the Gracie family, like
yes,
yeah.
like
Whoa,
the
cool.
Hodger Gracie, Kira Gracie, Master Hillian Gracie, Igor Gracie. I mean, all of them. I think there was 8 or 9 of them on that particular trip,
Cool.
and so Costa Rica was very beautiful. You'll love it.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine who's trying to do some real estate in Costa Rica and purchase a sort of a hotel.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean it's certainly a great place. Beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
place.
Very cool.
So
Yeah.
so Billy, I mean, is there a way that you can share with us? How do we get a hold of Billy? You know what? How do we get a hold of Retreat Candles?
Yeah, retreatcandleco.com, Billy at retreatcandleco.com. If you're interested in helping us achieve our mission, we do lots of custom branded stuff, corporate gifting. We do custom scents. We can help you. You don't need to be Tom Ford. We can help you create a custom scent. We work with some amazing people, including the only master perfumer in North America, to create custom scents for brands. So hit me up if you're interested in doing something neat, the gift that gives back, and I'm always happy to chat and answer questions and go from there.
That's awesome. Can you at least share what's the strangest scent you've made so far?
We got some good ones. Fresh cut grass is one. I made one the other day. It was a horrible mix of buttered popcorn and cotton candy, but it was a customer request, so we put it together. And they won't be lighting that candle very often. It's more of a novelty candle. We've done some lines for a couple sex shops, with leather bound, a leather Tuscan leather strap scent and vanilla pipe tobacco, and we've done some fun stuff. So there's nothing we
Billy,
can't do here.
Billy, I just want you to know, Poutine Nation said, goal for 2024, poutine scented candle.
Done. I can do that this year, Josh.
There you go. But see, Josh, poutine scented candles coming your way, my friend. Billy, you're an outstanding human. You're an amazing guy. I really am honored to call you my friend. You have the heart of a lion and self-describe yourself as an average Joe. And I love that. That was the kicker for me. And as I'll sort of go back to what we said at the beginning of the show, that when you're a lion, you don't need to tell anybody you're a lion because they already know. And I believe that in your humbleness of being an entrepreneur, in trying to help, in helping the youth by way of Retreat Candle Co. You're just doing amazing things, and I'm really am so grateful that you're here. I wish the world was full of more Billy Rogers.
Right back at you, Crew Mel.
Thank you, my friend. Grateful for you to spend 90 minutes. I'm going to put you backstage, my friend, and I'm going to give my final thoughts. And also share some of my victories this week because I'm very excited for the Coffee and Biscotti show. But thank you. Thank you for your time today, Billy. You're amazing.
Thank you. It's been an honor, and the pleasure is all yours.
Come No, I was waiting for something. We had a really serious conversation, but man, I was waiting for some wisecrack from Billy.
We forgot to do the burping contest. Oh well,
Yeah,
next time.
I got that. The burping contest. I was going, thank God he forgot about that because I'm horrible at it.
Thanks, Mel.
Franny, please share your good news. Thank you, Billy. I'll put you backstage. And there you have it, my friends. Another episode. He inspires me, this guy, man. He inspires me to go after what I love. And what I love is helping people find clarity in their life. And I'm inspired because I have had so much loss in the last few years. And I just feel the energy shift. So I want to take a moment to share with all of you, because it is coffee and biscotti related. On Valentine's Day, I put a post. I read a chapter from one of my favorite books. I don't know if you can see it, guys. It's called Simple Truths. It's written by a guy named Kent Nurburn. And I tagged him in the post, and he responded. And not only did he respond, but he sent me an email, and I sent him my number. And I've been sharing his words from this book for over 20 years. And ladies and gentlemen, on March 4th, we are going to have Kent Nurburn on the Coffee and Biscotti Show. And I am jumping out of my skin from excitement. He is just this amazing human that I sent him an email saying, hanging out with you, Kent, is better than meeting Brad Pitt. And that's because his words, he has this incredible ability to communicate such profound thoughts and on such profound topics that he does it in such few words. This book is called Simple Truths, Clear and Gentle Guidance on the Big Issues in Life. It's got really big font, and it's 108 pages long. So pick up the book, do yourself a favor. I told him that I used to buy 5 or 6 of them at a time and write little messages in them and give it to people who needed some light in their life. So my friends, be prepared. March 4th, Kent Nurburn will be here live on the Coffee and Biscotti Show. Don't miss it, because this guy's going to drop some truth bombs and some wisdom bombs that are going to trickle down your ear canal right into your heart chakra. And it's going to inspire you because he's just that guy. So I'm very excited about that. Shout out to Albert Wong and the Wolf Pack, because we've got somebody new that was or hopefully going to have somebody new this week that was sort of motivated and sort of what am I looking for? I'm looking for Albert Wong referring to the Wolf Pack, a gentleman by the name of Sean. Looking forward to have him part of the group. And also that on Sunday, we are going back to some in real life training. Thank God that we found this beautiful 9,000 square feet and of training facility, and it has an espresso bar in it. That's right. You heard me, an espresso bar. So after your training, you could go and enjoy some chit-chat in a beautiful espresso bar right inside the facility. Gracie Baja East in Orleans. Super stoked. 2 days away from that. Franny, congratulations to you, honey, on your making the Dean's List. I think you said 3rd time in a row. Well done, Franny. Well done, girl. Not surprised, girl. You're a gem. So happy that you're here today. My friends, I have so much excitement to share with all of you. I have to tell you, the energy is shifting. So Mercury is not in retrograde anymore. So now it's time. It's time to move forward. Take Billy's advice and fuck the hustle and go live your life. Take it. And I say this to you, I say it all the time to my clients, because if you fast forward to your funeral, no one's going to be talking about what a good employee you were, or even what a good entrepreneur you were. They're going to talk about you and the impact and value you've had in your life. I want to say one more thing. I want to talk about my post on Sunday about zones of genius and being in your zone of genius. This is how I want to close the show today. I got a chance to spend some time with some amazing men on Saturday night. I put it up in my Instagram and in my Facebook and LinkedIn. I got to spend time with Albert Wong, Daryl, Nick, Tuan, and myself. And we were together. And we weren't talking about vaginas, cars, and sports. We were talking about zones of genius. That's what this group talks about. This is how powerful this group is, because they're all amazing humans. All we needed, of course, was Billy to come out and Remy to come out and Josh Leslie to come out, and all of a sudden we would be a party of brilliance. Here's what I wrote. I said that on Sunday or Saturday we talked about zones of genius, and that there were 3 points that came up. And here's what I want to say to you, my friends. You can work years in a career, but how do you know if you're working in your zone of genius? And these 3 points came up. Number 1, the work you are doing comes effortlessly. That doesn't mean that it doesn't take effort, but it comes effortlessly. Because of course, if it means something, it's going to take effort. Number 2, you are so passionate about the work that you do that the hours don't matter because your heart is content. And number 3, you can see the fruits of your labor. And that the fruits of your labor can come in 2 ways. Number 1, or A, the money you are earning is reaching and satisfying the goal that you have set for yourself. And number 2, you see the impact or value it has on the people around you. Write that down, my fine feathered friends. Write that shit down. 3 points of knowing that you're in your zone of genius. So, wherever you are in the world, I hope that you will continue to tune in, especially as we approach March 4th. Thank you, Freddie. You wrote that shit down. Love it. Because there's going to be a lot of things. If you know the name Theo Fleury, who was one of the best to lace up his skates, we're trying to get him on the show. Josh Leslie, he could only do a Saturday. So I'm wondering if we can record for the first time a show on Saturday and put it out the following Friday, or whether or not we change the show for 1 week and put it on Saturday just to host a man like Theo Fleury. He played for the Calgary Flames. I don't know how many years, but he's an amazing man with an amazing story. We want to get him on the Coffee and Biscotti show. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And this is all because some energy cleared. And I let go of some of the challenges and didn't hold on to the emotions of those challenges. So I would love to again connect with you guys next week. And of course, next week on the Coffee and Biscotti show, let's not forget about this man who's coming on. He was a gentleman that I connected because he was sitting on the board of directors for the Canadian Muay Thai Association. His name is Robin Finley, and he's a really super guy. So next week on the Coffee and Biscotti Show, 12 o'clock EST. Don't forget it. Put it in your calendars. Make sure you come and hang out with us because it's going to be an awesome show. Thank you, Franny, for coming today. Albert Wong, I love you, buddy. Always will. I miss tennis. Can't wait to go and play tennis with you, Josh. Today, we are going to switch things up and go see someone with their own talk show and their own story of passion and transformation at DJ Wheat. Folks, stick around. Josh, we're going to raid there. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone that has been with us today. I really appreciate you. Super happy and super honored that you spent some of your time with us. Love you, Franny. Love you, Mom. Happy birthday to you. Josh, right away, my brother. We are out of here. And don't forget, everybody needs a Josh Leslie in their life. Peace out, homies. I'm out of here.